our spiritual master and the only way by which we attain the Holy Devotional service. I bow down to the Lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By His grace, went to cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from His lotus. Attachment to His lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes, fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From Him ecstatic prema emanates. By Him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of His character. Our spiritual master is the notion of mercy, the friend of the poor and Lord and master of devotees. O Master, please be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of Your lotus feet. May fame spread all over the 3 worlds. We take shelter at Your lotus feet.
Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Sorry, can I quickly ask the Matajis, whoever is free this morning, who would like to help in the kitchen, they could need 1 to 2 people. Is anyone willing to help? Okay, very nice.
You're like the back of the class. We can misbehave.
Charitamrita Adi Leela 4, 5, 6.
His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Kandaraj Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the Son devotees. All glories to the Son devotees. All glories to the Son. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Gauranga. So good morning, everyone. Welcome on this auspicious day of Shri Radharani's appearance day. She already appeared on the altar. Next, we may invite her into our heart. And may this discussion this morning be inspiration for our meditation throughout the day. We're seeking the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that we can speak something which is of our mutual benefit. Just for our sound master here in the back. I think we have a lot of echo, huh?
Yeah.
So let's get that right. We choose a verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita from the 4th chapter, which speaks about the confidential reasons for Lord Chaitanya's appearance. And as we know, Lord Chaitanya he appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So therefore we have a lot of insights about that in this chapter. Can you hear well? Is it okay for the moment? Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
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 Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vinda.
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 Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vinda.
Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vinda.
So this is text 56 from the 4th chapter. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dve Dehadari.
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 Anyone Vilase Rasa Ashvadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashvadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Asvadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashvadanakari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dve Dehadari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dve Dehadari.
Anyone Vilase Rasa Asvadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashvadanakari.
Please. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subramanian ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Radha Krishna Ekatma Dvi Dehadari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dve Dehadari.
Andonye Vilase Rasa Ashvadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashvadanakari.
Your hands, please.
Radha Krishna Ekatma Dve Dehadari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Anyonye Vilase Rasa Aswadanakari.
Anyonye Vilase Rasa Aswadanakari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Anyonye Vilase Rasa Aswadanakari.
Anyonye Vilase Rasa Aswadanakari.
Mataji's. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashwadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashwadanakari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Nanyate Vilasa Rasa Aswadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashwadanakari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadari.
Anyonye Vilasa Rasa Ashwadanakari.
Anyone Vilasa Rasa Ashwadanakari.
Thank you. Radha Krishna,
Radha Krishna,
Radha and Krishna,
Radha Krishna,
Eka, one, Atma,
Atma,
self,
Self,
Dui,
Dui,
two, Deha,
Deha,
bodies,
Bodies,
Dari,
Dari,
assuming,
Assuming,
and Anyonye,
Anyone,
one another,
One another,
Vilase,
Vilase,
they enjoy,
they enjoy,
Rasa,
Rasa,
the mellows of love,
the members of love,
Aswadana,
Aswadana,
Aswadanakari,
Aswadanakari,
tasting.
tasting.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
I will go back one verse to 55 because there's a connection. So 55. The loving affairs of Shri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him, who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. It's a short purport. This text is from the diary of Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami. It appears as the fifth of the first 14 verses of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, translation purport to text 56. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. Purport. The two transcendentalists, Radha and Krishna, are a puzzle to materialists. The above description of Radha and Krishna from the diary of Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami is a condensed explanation, but one needs great spiritual insight to understand the mystery of these two personalities. One is enjoying in two. Shri Krishna is the potent factor, and Srimati Radharani is the internal potency. According to Vedanta philosophy, there is no difference between the potent and the potency. They are identical. We cannot differentiate between one and the other, and more than we can separate fire from heat. Everything in the Absolute is inconceivable in relative existence. Therefore, in relative cognitions, it is very difficult to assimilate this truth of the oneness between the potent and the potency. Can you follow? This is understandable? Yeah. The philosophy of inconceivable oneness and difference propounded by Lord Chaitanya is the only source of understanding for such intricacies of transcendence. In fact, Radharani is the internal potency of Sri Krishna, and she eternally intensifies the pleasure of Sri Krishna. Impersonalists cannot understand this without the help of a Mahabhagavat devotee. The very name Radha suggests that Srimati Radharani is eternally the topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. As such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Sri Krishna. Devotees in Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Srimati Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Sri Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally approaches the fallen conditioned souls of the Iron Age to deliver the highest principle of transcendental relationships with the Lord. The activities of Lord Chaitanya are primarily in the role of the pleasure-giving portion of his internal potency. The absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the omnipotent form of transcendental existence, knowledge and bliss in full. His internal potency is exhibited first as Sat, or existence, or in other words, as the portion that expands the existence function of the Lord. When the same potency displays full knowledge, it is called Chit, or Sambit, which expands the transcendental forms of the Lord. Finally, when the same potency plays as a pleasure-giving medium, it is known as Ladini, or the transcendental blissful potency. Thus the Lord manifests his internal potency in three transcendental divisions. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Adhyanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakyachatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sarvadutam Parichanam Samitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripe Chakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Pachitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Radha Krishna Eka Atma Duhi Dehadari Anyane Vilase Rasa Aspadanakari. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. The Acharyas say, when Krishna steps to his right side, Balaram is manifested. When Krishna steps to his left side, then Srimati Radharani is manifested. So while they are two to enjoy loving pastimes, they are actually one. They're one in mind, Ek Atma. Two persons, but with one mind. This is not so easy to understand, therefore, Srila Prabhupada in his purport describes these as inconceivable. Through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we get access to these confidential pastimes, and by following in his footsteps, we gain a certain kind of access in understanding and the goal of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta to actually to join these eternal pastimes as a servant of the servant of the servant. Now, what we want to highlight in our discussion today is how Srimati Radharani intensifies the love of Lord Sri Krishna. And we're going to make a connection to Rasara's Sudhaniti from Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. And there is an interesting analogy which connects very nicely with the Srimad Bhagavatam. And we would like to present this today for the pleasure of their lordships and the assembled Vaishnavas. Now, when we speak that Srimati Radharani, she intensifies the pleasure of Krishna, she's not doing this alone. So we as living beings, as Jivas, we get an opportunity to join in that service. And this is actually what is pleasing to Krishna, what is pleasing to her. So our access to please Krishna is to the mercy of Srimati Radharani. But also there, we don't have the direct link. It's not a direct access. We're going to explore that too, how we properly approach Srimati Radharani. So Krishna, he is known as an ocean of mercy. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. But Srimati Radharani, she even intensifies that. Because Srimati Radharani, she's known as Sandra Kripa Sindhu. She's like a condensed ocean. Now, at the beginning of the 5th canto, we hear about the 7 oceans in the material universe. You just recently had this discussion, most probably in the Srimad Bhagavatam study. And there it's described, there are 7 oceans within the material world. And they're consisting of salt, sugarcane, or sugarcane juice, wine, how could it be? Wine, ghee, yogurt, milk, and sweet water. Now, Prabhupada Ananda Saraswati Thakur, he, in his 18th verse of Sri Radhara Sudhaniti, he makes an analogy. And there he says, may Sri Radha, who is an ocean of intelligence, a nectar ocean of love, an ocean of kind affection, an ocean of great mercy, an ocean of beauty, an ocean of nectar splendor, an ocean of transcendental pastimes appear in my heart. So within this verse, there are 7 qualities of Srimati Radharani. We have the description of her 25 qualities, but here there's a highlight of 7 qualities and how they relate to the 7 oceans within the material universe. So just to repeat them, there's Radharani's cleverness, her love, her affection, her mercy, her beauty, her elegance, and her pastimes. And they relate to the 7 oceans according to the description of Prabhupada Ananda Saraswati. So who is Prabhupada Ananda Saraswati Thakur? He's an eternal associate of Srimati Radharani. He's Tunga Vidyasaki, one of the Astasakis. And from his experience in his Siddha Swarup, in his eternal spiritual body, he comes into this world in his sadhana Swarup as a practicing devotee, but he brings all these impressions, all these insights. And through his writings, we get access into these deeper dimensions of spirituality. Now, Krishna, he is Karuna Sindhu. He's an ocean of mercy. But Srimati Radharani, she's like a zip file. Do you know what a zip file is? You know. So when you have some files on your computer, you can pack them into one archive. That's a zip file. It just appears as one file. But then through one application, you can unpack it again. So Radharani, she's like a zip file. Because all these qualities of these 7 oceans, they are present in one person. So they are condensed. Now, what happens when something is condensed?
Sweetness.
There's a lot of sweetness. And there's intensity. What is an atom bomb? Atom bomb is a condensation of atoms. So what happens when an atom bomb explodes? Yes, devastation, for sure. So in the same way, Srimati Radharani, when her mercy explodes, then there will be no material desires left. So therefore she is that condensed form of mercy. Now, let's get some descriptions about these 7 oceans and how they relate to Srimati Radharani's qualities.
Hare Krishna, good morning everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here, great honor to be absorbed in Srimati Radharani's qualities, so I'm very grateful. And we're going to speak about the 7 oceans. And the same way that Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, he asked, please may all these oceans appear in my heart. Do you want also these oceans appear in your hearts?
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
prepared for the atomic explosion? So let's go. So the first ocean is called Divya-simha. It's the ocean of cleverness. And it's compared with the ocean of sweet water. So in the Brahma Samhita, text 5.37, Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he describes 64 artistic qualities of Srimati Radharani. So start with Gita, the art of singing. So he describes many qualities. If you want, you can write down, so you can go through the 64 qualities, artistic qualities. But in summary, like singing, dancing, decorating the body with colors, memorizing verses, imposing discipline even, the artistic quality. She has also 2 qualities related to healing, creating medicines, and there are plenty of qualities there. Even making jokes, also making enigmas, and solving these enigmas too. So, and what is interesting here is that Srimati Radharani, she didn't learn this from anyone. These are all self-manifest qualities, artistic qualities. So, and Srila Rupa Goswami also, he calls her Acharya. She is the teacher of all these qualities. So whenever we are doing some service, today we saw the altar very beautifully decorated, so it's very easy to meditate on these artistic qualities, isn't it? One of the qualities is putting flowers in the thread, so you could see many beautiful garlands, many beautiful flower arrangements. The face of the deity is painted and decorated. So today we have many opportunities to meditate on all these qualities of Srimati Radharani. And whenever we are doing some service, we can also meditate that she's the supreme teacher, so she can give us the path. So yesterday we were doing garlands for the Abhishek, and I said, Radharani, please guide us here. So it's very interesting to think that these artistic qualities come from Srimati Radharani, and then she's a Acharya, she's a teacher that can teach us too. The second ocean is Anuraga Rasaika Sindhu, the ocean of focused love. Rasa Eka Eka, one. So she's single-minded. Her love for Krishna is single-minded. They cannot think in anything else. So I had the history when she was in the forest searching for Krishna, started speaking with a bumblebee, and oh, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Because her mind is focused. So in our lives, we can also meditate about this. How it's easy for us to get distracted in the world, isn't it? Our mind's not single-minded, it's like very diverted. So we can pray also for Srimati Radharani, so we can have this single-minded love, and we can overcome the obstacles and the distractions in our spiritual life. And there's a comparison, like just as the milk becomes kshira, cream, when it's boiled down, the same way Anuraga turns into Mahabhava when it becomes thick. So that's why Anuraga Rasaika Sindhu is compared to the ocean of milk. So the third ocean is Vatsalya Sindhu, is the ocean of motherly love. And this motherly love can be expressed in many ways, but we can speak here mainly about nourishment and protection. And this is compared to the ocean of yogurt, because the yogurt is considered the essence of like milk products, and the motherly love is a very essential love we can have. You can see Srila Prabhupada used to say that motherly love is a kind of love that where in this world that can most resemble the love we should experience in the spiritual world, because it's selfless love. There is no second interests. So, and also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 489, it said, therefore Radha is Parama Devata, the Supreme Goddess, and she is worshipable for everyone. She is the protector of all, and she is the mother of the entire universe. It's called Janana. So also we can, when you're in a situation where you feel you need nourishment, you need protection, you can meditate on Srimati Radharani as the one who can protect us, who can nourish us, sometimes chastise us too, and correct us, and give us this motherly affection. He was surprised.
The fourth ocean is called Ati Sandra Kripaka Sindhu. Srimati Radharani, she is most known for her compassion, her compassion towards all living entities. And in her case, there's something special. Because usually when we speak about compassion, compassion is a matter of the heart. When our heart becomes soft, then we feel compassion for someone else. So the heart melts. Therefore, this fourth ocean is compared to the ocean of ghee, because ghee melts. Now, in her case, not just her heart melts, Radharani's whole body melts when she is overcome with compassion. Therefore, Krishna, when he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he accepted that same mood. He has the complexion of molten gold. He's outside Krishna, inside Radha. So Radharani's body, filled with compassion, melts like ghee. Now, here's important instruction for us, because we as Vaishnavas, we want to connect with that attitude of compassion. Right? A Vaishnava's dharma is to be compassionate towards all living entities. Now, when we approach Srimati Radharani, we don't do that directly. They are the right-wing gopis. The right-wing gopis, they submit themselves to Krishna. The left-wing gopis, they would never submit to Krishna. They take Krishna as their own, so Krishna submits to them. And Srimati Radharani, she is the leader of the left-wing gopis. So therefore, we cannot approach Krishna directly. He is already the property of Srimati Radharani and her Sakhis. Therefore, our way to Krishna is through them. Because when Srimati Radharani, she is pleased by our attitude and by our service, then she will recommend us to Krishna. Now, how do we do that practically? Because we, with our mind, with our consciousness, we are not involved in these pastimes yet. But Srila Prabhupada, he explains, and also every day we sing the prayers to the spiritual master given by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, that the spiritual master, he's the confidential servant of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna and their Sakhis. So therefore, by dovetailing our desire with the desire of the spiritual master, by serving in the mission of the spiritual master, we are directly serving Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. Because the spiritual master, he's very close to Radha and Krishna. He knows what is pleasing them. Therefore, whatever service we do that on behalf of the spiritual master. We assist our spiritual master. Therefore, service is never taken. It's not that we step forward and say, this is my service. No, that's not a proper attitude. The attitude is to receive service. So sometimes we feel maybe overwhelmed with service. There's so much to do. So should we refuse? Ideally not, because mostly the problem is that we are so many branched. We have our own plans, and therefore there's not so much space for Krishna. So the more we become purified, the more we become selfless, the more we actually become able to align ourselves with the desire of the spiritual master, who knows what pleases Radha and Krishna. And that's the goal of life. We're not aspiring to stumble into the spiritual world. We follow the parampara system, and there's a chain which uplifts us into these pastimes. So that's the fourth ocean of Srimati Radharani's compassion, which is compared to the, because in her case not just the heart melts, but the whole body melts due to that compassion. The fifth ocean is called Lavanya Sindhu. And it's the ocean of Srimati Radharani's elegance or beauty. That's compared to wine. Why to wine? Because wine is an intoxicant, at least if you take too much of it. Now, Srila Rupa Goswami in Ujjvala Lilamani, he describes what this lavanya actually is. And there he says, the luster that gushes out of each bodily limb, like the luster shining out from inside pearls, is called lavanya. Have you seen already real pearls? I mean, real pearls. Because often we just see imitation of pearls. But high quality pearls, they have a shining. They even, when you have them in a box and you open the box, it's almost like a light is coming out of it. That's a luster, and that's Srimati Radharani's body. She has this kind of luster coming. And that's something very attracting for Krishna. Because when Krishna sees that luster of Radharani, he becomes completely intoxicated. Like drinking wine. And the Sakis and the Mancharis, when they see how Krishna is looking at Radharani with this lavanya, then they also become intoxicated. Do you see how these pastimes in the spiritual world, how they involve everyone and what kind of emotions they are creating? Now, as practicing devotees, we should not imitate that. We should not drink wine so that we have the same kind of feelings or emotions. But what we should do is to become intoxicated by worshipping the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna. Because they have this potency of completely intoxicating us so that we forget about all our material desires. They're so captivating that they take possession of our mind. And therefore, when we really absorb ourselves in our sadhana, in our seva, then at one point we will be completely intoxicated, and all the luster, or so-called luster of this material world, will appear very pale. It doesn't have any attraction anymore. So our attraction should go to the lotus feet of Shri Radha and Krishna. That's lavanya, the fifth ocean, which is compared to wine. The sixth ocean is called Amrita Japi Rupa Sindhu. It's the ocean of nectar, and especially the effulgence or radiance of Srimati Radharani, which is compared to sugarcane. Why sugarcane or sugarcane juice? Because Radharani's form is so sweet. As we heard already, she is Mahabhav, the personification of Mahabhav. And Mahabhav is that condensed form of love for Krishna. It's the deepest possible love one can have for Krishna, and this is what makes her so unique. We cannot come to that same level but she is the embodiment of that deep love for Krishna. And this is what captivates Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it said, although, Krishna speaks here, although my beauty defeats the beauty of 10 million cupids, although it is unequaled and unsurpassed, and although it gives pleasure to the three birds, seeing Radharani gives pleasure to my eyes. So Krishna, he can inundate the whole world with just one drop of his beauty. Just one drop of Krishna will make us completely intoxicated. But even Krishna, he is drowning when he meditates on the beauty of Radharani. And there's a beautiful pastime in this context, which we want to share today. And this pastime going to manifest today in the temple. And how, I will tell you after. And it's a pastime of Pilipuka. Who of you have heard already the pastime of Pilipuka? Just two. Pilipuka. The pastime of Pilipuka. Three. Pili means yellow. And there is one pond in Vasana which has a yellowish color. How did it come? So Srimati Radharani, she used to go every day to Nandagram, to the house of Yashoda Mai, to cook for Krishna. And Yashoda Mai, she was so captivated by the beauty of Radha. And she thought, she is the perfect match for my Kanai, for my little Krishna. They should marry one day. And overcome by that desire, she took Radharani's hand and she smeared kumkuma into her hand. Now, she asked Radharani, do you know what it means? And Radharani very innocently said, no, I have no idea. And Yashoda Mai explained, now you're engaged. You're engaged to marry my little Krishna. And Radharani said, oh my God, I'm not ready to marry. That's too early. I want to play with my friends, and no, this is too much for me at the moment. But this were her internal thoughts. She didn't express that to Yashoda Mai because she had great respect for her. So Yashoda said, now you go home and you tell your parents. And that's serious, because once that happens, then the marriage is sealed. Now, Radharani, she left Nandagram. And on her way back to Vasana, she met her Sakis. And they could see something is different with Radha. They asked what happened. She just showed her hands. And the Saki said, oh my God, now we have a problem. Because you are bound now to Yashoda. You won't disappoint her. But you cannot go home like this. Because we want to have our pastimes. We want to play. It's too early for you to marry. So they had a plan. Because on their way, there was a pond. He said, you just go there and wash your hands, and this kukuma gonna be off. So she did. She put her hands in the pond and started rubbing. While she was rubbing her hands, she saw her own face in the pond reflected. And she saw her own beauty. And she thought, actually, I think it would be a good idea to marry Krishna. But maybe not now, maybe later. But she became so absorbed in thoughts of Krishna while rubbing her hands in the pond. And her heart was filled with Krishna. And while she continued rubbing, suddenly the whole lake turned yellow. And then it became golden. Because all that emotions which she had in her heart went into the lake. Now when the Sakis saw that, they said, we have to go, we have to go. If someone sees this, that the whole lake became yellow, we get a problem. So they rushed off, but the hands were clean. Now sometime later, Krishna, he also used to walk in that path daily with his cows. And there was one cow who was going a little bit astray. And Krishna was searching for that cow. And without any thought, he passed the pond, and after a few meters he stopped, looked back, said, something different. What happened to the pond? So he went back and said, oh my God, this whole pond is yellow. He became curious and went closer, and with his little finger, he touched the water. But when he touched the water, it was like he became electrified. He immediately pushed back his finger. He tried again. He put his hand at the same time. So he became really curious. He asked the birds, the deers, the plants, the trees, what happened with that lake? Why this lake is so yellow? But they were all quiet. Because what happened there was very confidential. Now, you know Krishna. When he wants to know something, then he gets into it. So out of his curiosity, he stepped into the pond. And he felt some emotions which he never felt before. He went deeper into the pond. And suddenly, he immersed himself completely, and the only thing you could see was his peacock feathers. And while being immersed in the pond, he became completely mad of love for himself. And you could see there was like a lightning or like a rocket going to that pond far back in all directions, but only the peacock feather was standing out of the water. So Krishna, he became so intoxicated with that love which Radharani has for him. And when he came out of that pond, he had a golden color. So this was the first indication that Krishna was going to appear in the age of Kali as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As we said, this pastime will manifest today. Manifest in the form of Radharani's birthday cake. And we were asked to share this pastime so that when you see the cake, that you can reconnect, that you can meditate. And what's the meaning? That's the pastime of Pilipuka. Okay, so we go to our last ocean, which is Kedi Sindhu, the ocean of amorous pastimes. And this ocean represents the playfulness of Srimati Radharani, and it's compared to salt. Why to salt? Now, we live at the ocean, we live in Brazil, and luckily the ocean is just in front of our door. And it's a saltwater ocean. So you can go into the ocean and take a bath, but if you stay for too long, then it's not very healthy. What to speak of drinking the salt water? You can even die. And in the same way, when we hear about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, then for us this doesn't mean to enter or to imitate something. For us it means that we should follow that path, because if to the process of hearing and chanting, like if you have a wound and you go into salt water, that wound is going to seal very fast. Salt water is some kind of healing substance also. So through our process of hearing and chanting, our material desires, they are purified, so that we can properly understand these pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But if we prematurely enter and start to drink too much of that nectar, then it may kill us. It may kill our spiritual life. And Srila Prabhupada in text 324 of the Bhagavad Gita, he quotes Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like one of the concluding verses of the Rasa Leela pastimes in the 10th canto. And there it said, "One who is not a great controller should never imitate the behavior of ruling personalities, even mentally. If out of foolishness an ordinary person does imitate such behavior, he will simply destroy himself, just as a person who is not Rudra would destroy himself if he tried to drink an ocean of poison. So these are instructions for us when we want to approach, when we want to observe ourselves in these pastimes, that we have caution, that we have the proper attitude, so that it will actually purify us instead of kill us. Because too much could be too much. Now, why is all of this relevant? Let's make a connection to our present situation.
So now we spoke about the 7 oceans. Let's see if you remember. So we can meditate on these oceans of Srimati Radharani, these qualities that inspire our own spiritual life, our service. So we said the first ocean, that she's very clever. Yeah. So in our service, we have to develop some cleverness. We can meditate on this. And after this, we said that she is. Okay, don't have to be in the right order. What else it can inspire us? Very beautiful.
Can you give us a hint of the
Sweet.
Very sweet. Spoke about our mother. Yes, she's a single-minded love for Krishna, focused. She's very focused.
Vatsalya?
Yeah, Vatsalya. She is our mother, Supreme Mother. She gives us protection, nourishment. She heals us too. He gave this example of the ocean of salt. And then, just by meditating these oceans, I think it becomes very relevant for us, isn't it? But one more point that we can bring here, that our consciousness, chitta, is full of samskaras that accumulate from many lifetimes, like anxieties, fear, desires, and it's like a big field of weeds. But whenever we get in contact with the Rasa Shastras, Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar of Devotion, Radharasa Sudhanidhi, it's like if we were planting a rose in the middle of this field of weeds. And the rose brings what? Color, fragrance, beauty. So if you plant one rose in the middle of a big field of weeds, you're going to have so much impact. Maybe a little, isn't it? Maybe somebody can notice there's one rose there. But as soon as you start planting more and more roses, so they start taking care of everything. And at some point, there are so many roses that they build like a kind of canopy of protection. And the weeds of our heart, at some point, they cannot receive more sunlight and then just disappear. So is it important that we get in contact with these Rasa Shastras, so you could cultivate these roses, these qualities in our heart, and automatically the weeds gonna disappear. We get in contact, as Divya said, in a respectful way, in a grateful way, in a humble way, having benefit of the salty water, but not so much, not exaggerate. So then we understand that it becomes relevant for us. And just to give some practical examples, the Maha Mantra is a healing mantra. As I said about these weeds, it can heal all these tendencies, these sanskaras, these weeds that's in our heart. And my whole life I felt there was something very deep. I'm a doctor, a cardiologist, I'm a heart doctor. And I said, oh, I received this gift from my family, from my spiritual master, so I think it can help my patients. So I decided to bring Maha Mantra to the hospitals. And I said, how is it going to be? Because I have patients from different spiritual backgrounds, Christians, Catholic, Protestants, Jehovah's Witness. Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai. golden light. And then I asked help of my Guru Maharaj, that's Sridayananda Maharaj, and I said, I want to bring the holy names to the patients because you're bringing meditation, mindfulness, stress management, but they said it's not enough. They said, what are you going to do with my life? Why I want to have quality of life? And then he explained the Maha Mantra in a way that I have never heard before. And I have never made this connection with these symbols of Srimati Radharani. And we said that she is Vatsalya Sindhu, the ocean of motherly affection. And she's an ocean of compassion too. So the way he presented the Maha Mantra is like a reciprocity meditation, where we receive so many gifts in our life, talents, and is a prayer where we ask to reciprocate with everything received and engage our talents in service. So Hara, Divya was speaking that Radharani, he melts her holy body, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. What Radharani experiencing in privacy and expressing in privacy in Krishna Lila, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did this openly for everyone, so why not bring this to everyone, people from all kind of backgrounds. And what's interesting that the Maha Mantra starts with Hara, Radharani's name, and the root Sanskrit of Hara really means to remove. So she's the one who removes all suffering, all anxieties, all fear from our heart. She's our mother gives protection. She is the symbol of mother. So the concept of mother is something very sacred in this world. We say that cows are sacred. Why? Because they represent mother for us. So it's a symbol of purity, selflessness, caring, sharing. So this is the first meaning, Hara. This is one way of meditating, and the meaning of the mantra, Mantrartha Chintanam, it connects us with these feelings when we are chanting. So after Radharani comes, she removes all the fear, all the anxiety. She gives us protection from our heart. Krishna, Kar, attract, Na, Ananda, blissful, bliss. So Radharani removes all the fear from our heart, all the anxiety, the tensions. And Krishna brings happiness. And at the end we have Rama, have pleasure. So the holy name, sometimes just take the japa and start chanting, sit and chant. We don't properly align our body and mind our heart. So what we'd like to do here is like that we chant some mantras together, but with this consciousness of Hara, the one who's our Supreme Mother, the source of all compassions, has everything condensed like an atomic bomb. And so it can also explode in our hearts, and then you can plant many rows here. So in the future, just look to a can, fill the roses, and I don't see weeds anymore. So would you like to practice together?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like to ask you to sit comfortably, if you're not yet. And close your eyes. And just paying attention to your breath. You don't need to change your breath. Just pay attention to the air coming in and out. Now I'd like to ask you to collect from your memory a moment where you felt extremely protected, cared, loved, nourished. And just engrave this experience in your heart. And And remember that the source of all this motherly love is Srimati Radharani. Now I'd like to ask you to remember a moment where you felt extremely joyful, blissful. The happiness just overflowing very naturally. And engrave this experience in your heart. And remember that the source of all this happiness comes from Krishna. Now bring to your mind the moment where you feel extreme pleasure. Most of the devotees meditate on prasad at this moment, but engrave this experience in your heart. And connect these emotions as feelings of your own. Now we're going to chant together a few Maha Mantras with the consciousness that you're addressing our Supreme Mother, our Supreme Father, having gratitude for everything we receive in our life, every protection, nourishment, feeling of peace, happiness, pleasure. And we're going to dedicate our hearts, offering our service. Ahara, symbol of protection, compassion. O Krishna, source of all happiness. O Rama, source of all pleasure. May I engage my talents in your loving service. Radharani is Gati Prada, the one who bestowed our goal of life, our mission in this world. So in this feeling of reciprocation, we're going to chant together. Infuse your chanting with these feelings engraved in your heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now you can engrave this experience in your heart And whenever chanting can bring these feelings, this connection with Srimati Radharani and Krishna. As soon as you feel comfortable, you can open your eyes. Does someone want to share experience? Was there intimate?
Thank you so much for this invitation. I observed myself that at the beginning I was really there and I was really trying to make this connection, but then I realized how our minds is going somewhere else again and again, although you're speaking and I'm supposed to listen. So yeah, I just saw that actually my heart is so impure, my mind is so restless, and we have to do more actually. Even if we have this guided meditation, it's like that. So.
Thanks for sharing. The good news is that Srimati Radharani is the ocean of focused love, so we can ask her to give us focus. Because the science shows our mind wanders 50% of the time. It happens with everyone. And I remember once I was in one retreat with Kadamakananda Maharaj, and one devotee shared difficulty to be concentrated in the japa. And he said, I don't remember one whole round I chanted without deviating my mind. So it happens, and the benefit comes from our efforts to bring the mind back. It's like when you go to the gym. You lift a weight and relax, lift a weight and relax. Our mind works like this, it wanders, it's chanchalam, it's flickering, it's stable. Ashna said this. But when Krishna sees our effort to bring the mind back, that's where we have the benefit. Someone else? Some Prabhu? Only the Mataji speak? So, if nobody wants to share, I'll share, Divya.
Stay with problems.
So then I'm going to share the experience of my grandmother. She's 96 years old. And she started chanting maybe almost 50 years ago. And my mother joined the movement. And when she heard this explanation from Dayananda Maharaj, she said, wow, why nobody told me this before? And nowadays she's chanting even more than she was chanting before. And I already saw her sleeping and chanting the fingers and chanting all the time. And this is the power of Srimati Radharani. And last week we went to Freiburg for a Bhakti Sangha. And one devotee that was there, she said that after the meditation, she could forgive the father because when she spoke about this protection, she reminded of the father. And she was for many years trying to do this without success. And this is Srimati Radharani's power. She forgave everything. She was very compassionate. And what happened to my patients? I told you that I brought this to my patients. At the end of the program, one patient said he was Christian. He said, doctor, the Bible said, know the truth and it's gonna free you. And this is freeness. So Srila Prabhupada said what follows spiritual science. So Lord Chaitanya Missions is inundated, flooded the whole world with the holy names. So this is for everyone, from every background. We should just translate this in a way that people can access and connect because we are in a personalist movement. It's not just give some leads to go there and chant this mantra. No, we should explain people what they are chanting. They should connect with this. And just give the rest to Srimati Radharani, because she's gonna come and she's gonna flood all our hearts. It's not, we are just instruments, but she has all this power, this condensed love that can come invade our hearts and plant many beautiful flowers. Have something else? Sure.
I think this was a good conclusion, and also time is quite advanced. I don't know if you have any burning questions, but whoever has to leave, please feel free to move on with your service. Those who want to stay, feel welcome for any questions or comments. Probably would you like to add something?
The devotees are very shy. They propose.
Very voluntarious.
So thank you very much, devotees, for the presentation. It was just wonderful to sit and hear. I was appreciating the access that we get by this process of hearing. That just good old sit down and just listen. And that's how the qualities of Srimati Radharani were being explained via these oceans. I was thinking, Prabhu had mentioned, Prabhupada Saraswati is Tunga Vidyasaki. So the good fortune of our line is that we are hearing from first-hand accounts, eyewitness accounts of the associates of the Lord. And therefore we are downloading directly from the
Extracting the zip file.
yeah. So I was really happy to hear. I felt we were getting access to the message of Srimati Radharani. And I was genuinely feeling that actually the program for today, this should have been the presentation. Yes, because so nicely prepared and just cohesive and inspiring. Thank you.
That's a question.
So you were mentioning that how we actually can only have access to Krishna through Radharani, and that's like how when we try to please the spiritual master or serve the spiritual master, we're actually serving Radharani. And by reflecting, I saw that actually I don't have this relationship to Radharani, and actually we have to get personal. When we try to chant, we should try to develop this relationship to Srimati Radharani, to Krishna. And I just wanted to ask if you can give some advice or some ideas how to go deeper, really to practice this personal relationship with the Holy Name, Srimati Radharani.
So some points is that for developing a relationship with someone, you should know about this person. The first thing, Sambandha. So we have the example of Rukmini. Just by hearing about Krishna, she developed a lot of affection for him. So if you want to develop this connection with Srimati Radharani, what you can do to increase this connection is read a lot about her. So we spoke today about the 4 qualities, artistic qualities. You can read about this, about the pastimes. And what to share that sometimes something, I don't feel this connection, I feel distance. It's not easy to develop a connection with Srimati Radharani with Krishna. And in the same way, Divya said we cannot approach Krishna directly, we go for Srimati Radharani because she's super merciful. In the same way, for the Vaishnavas, we can get closer. So also serving the Vaishnavas, because Srimati Radharani, she's the embodiment of devotional service. So when you serve the Vaishnavas, she gets very pleased, and we enter her mode. That's this mode of selfless service. So one thing, hearing about her, another thing, entering her mode, that's serving. And other thing too is that we spoke about all these oceans and qualities of Srimati Radharani. It's important that you try, most possible you apply this in our daily relationships. Because for what we live in the community with Vaishnavas, not here just by chance. This world, Bhaktivedanta Swami used to say, this world is a field of relationships. And the relationships we develop here is to prepare us to relate with in the spiritual world. So we can come here and speak about Radharani's compassion, affection, protection, but I'm not giving protection to devotee, and my community I'm not giving nourishment, I'm not forgiving. So not just hearing about Srimati Radharani qualities, but you think, how can I also refine these qualities inside myself, because we are part and parcels of Krishna and Radha. So the most we align with these qualities, more we're going to feel connected with her. So I would say these 3 points: hearing about her, serving the Vaishnavas, and trying our best to develop these all qualities in our daily relationships.
Any final thoughts or questions? Okay, so then let's come to a natural end. Thank you so much for your attention, and we wish you a wonderful day in absorption of the glories of Shri Radha and Krishna, and being engaged in the service. Festivals are always these great opportunities to nurture our bhakti, so let's take full advantage, be together with devotees, and be alone with Krishna and Radha also. Gandharaj Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai.